Didn't you guys kiss so hard that you cut his lip?
Can we wrap the episode, please? Video times sketch bridge underwiring fireworks. That should prepare people for the sketch, right? That means, hey, welcome to the Katie Willert Experience. Hi, Katie.
Hi, Michael.
I'm Michael. That's Katie. We're back again to rewatch a Katie Willert Experience sketch, which basically means a sketch that Katie stars in. That's all it means. From over the years, from the cracked golden era.
Yes.
Not to denigrate any other era. I know people who like the silver era better than the... Let's move on. I wanted to actually talk a little before we show this sketch, like a little more than, because do people even... Is Babel
Fish?
Babel Fish? Well, for the record, I do know, I just want the nerds out there to know that it's based on Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Katie, if you didn't know.
I didn't.
Babel Fish is a little alien fish that you stick in your ear and it makes it so you can... It eats any alien language and shits whatever language you understand. So this was a tool that we used to use to translate things.
It was so bad.
The joke of the sketch is that it worked bad. That's the joke. That's the whole joke. Right? I believe. Yeah. It's more of an internet prank. And so, Katie, do you have any memories of when we brought you this idea? And I also want to know, and memorizing this?
So this is the first ever sketch that I used a teleprompter for.
Oh, I didn't know we ever used prompters.
So it was DVG had his big...
Daniel Vincent Gord.
Daniel Vincent Gord, a member of Natural Disastronauts. He had stacked a couple of bins on top of each other and put it on top because it's supposed to be like a anyway, so his argument was that I would be reading from a teleprompter.
Sure.
But the website at the time, the teleprompter capabilities was just him on this page where it put it big, but he still had to hand, put the arrow key down.
But here's a not fun factoid about old school Cracked. We never owned a teleprompter. Cracked internal department. So Natural Disastronauts was a great sketch troupe of friends, and we would acquire all their videos and run them on Cracked and mix them in indiscriminately. So you barely know unless you pay attention to the little plates at the end. But every episode of Does Not Compute, for example, which was my show that's all me just talking directly at camera, no teleprompter ever. The first show I think we had one for was Escort Mission, our video games show. And that was because Greg Burke had already acted in movies and real things and was like, no, I won't do it without a
yeah,
this is
it's
crazy.
An insane amount of,
The few, really people who were already blowing up we got to work with, like Ego Nwodim or Noel Wells.
Sam Richardson, baby.
Sam Richardson. Well, Sam had no problem memorizing, actually. He's just great at that. But they all had enough experience, I would say it's a positive, to go, what are you guys, this is
Why
stupid.
Are you racking your
Noel
brain
came to
for
us
this?
and it's like, I can't memorize this 2 pages of bullshit. So hot tip for people out there doing things where you just talk for 10 minutes at the camera.
Use a teleprompter.
Write that shit down.
It's
the
necessary.
president does it. Okay, so now that people who don't know can pick up from context clues, even though I don't think I said it clearly, the Babel Fish was a shitty translation app, and that the premise of this sketch is we really did easiest script to ever write. Whoever pitched the idea, I forget, but we just went and did it and it was done. Take a real recipe, stick it in, just swap some words to make them funnier words probably than they were, punch it up, and then make Katie do it. So let's watch Cooking with Babel Fish, pig boiling radish and egg entering.
Okay, ready?
You ready? You queued up?
Yeah.
All right, you call it.
3, 2, 1, play.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Cooking with Babel Fish. Each week, we'll be whipping up a new international
Like the
dish,
bouzouki
but
music.
due to a strategic marketing partnership, we'll find recipes written in the recipe's original language and then translate them to English.
This is like we
using
did in
Babel
Agents of
Fish's
Cracked all
online
about the
translator.
site Dig,
So, today,
and people
all
don't
the way
even
Even know what
Japan,
it is
It looks
anymore.
like we'll be cooking pig angular boiling Japanese pig.
The amount of raw
So, now the first thing
meat
we
and
always wanna
eggs
do
that I
is
had to
make sure that we
handle
have
in
all
these
of our
sketches.
ingredients.
the part where the green onion is blue,
Blue.
comma 1 or parentheses 1.
Whew.
And the
Guys,
alcoholic drink.
I think they meant teaspoon and
Your
tablespoon.
sugar.
So
Spoons are fine.
Large
okay.
spoon. Okay.
did you guys get this from my apartment?
Yeah, it said your sugar.
I love Daniel.
Okay.
It said your
I like
sugar.
that
to boil.
He's not mic'd
3
well, yeah,
long
intentionally.
spoons of sugar.
It
1
smelled
small
weird in the
spoon of soy
kitchenette.
sauce, and 1 small spoon of liquor. Oh. Okay. Then we just
Did you do it? Ddid you cook it?
push
Yes.
all of the vegetables.
I feel like that
through
would
it.
have ruined the
So,
break room and made everyone in the
okay,
office hate us. Did it
Well, I
stink?
mean, we did a lot of
Okay,
stuff
for
that
the,
made them,
next
I think,
step,
would make them
put the
hate
Yeah,
us.
we'll talk
and
about
the
that.
pig meat near.
Gotta put the
This is
pig
my
meat near.
favorite. One of my favorite.
So I'm guessing we're just
Gonna
gonna
put
take
the
the
pig
pig
meat-
meat and put it near the frying pan.
What does it say?
I mean, that's what it says, but I just. Hey, okay. Whoa.
No, that's CG, right?
Yes,
You
that
don't
was-
do
that was
that.
not
Oh my
real.
god, oh my god,
Clearly
oh my god,
not.
oh my god, oh my god. Oh shit.
Decent
Okay.
fire effects.
Oh,
Not
is
bad.
anyone gonna take care of that?
Which
No
again,
one's
you
gonna
could now
try and put that out.
just do like air quotes and the AI will be like, oh,
okay.
you want fire?
Oh, fire.
effects?
So we are going to cut a hole.
Okay, that's
an
real.
insertion hole right here.
Yes, that
put
was a
Cut
real
an
piece of
insertion hole.
raw
some
pork.
water and
I put raw beef. I put my hands in raw beef in the
seeing
last sketch we talked
phosphorus
about.
with our hands.
Oh.
So just
I'm looking back, I'm like, I actually underestimate how much gross out shit we did
sugar.
with you. Meaning like, hey, look at Willard have to do this horrible thing.
I think because I'm like down to
sugar.
clown. I'm like, okay, you want to throw something at me? Cool.
I did those a
like,
lot too.
You know,
So, yeah,
whatever.
a little bit.
But I forgot you had the pudding, you had this, you had
The phosphorus.
Being positive
see the
We put it
phosphorus.
inside. Just put it inside.
there. Next, the boiling egg, which is inserted.
Taste soaks one ginger powder. That is a phrase that I will
So,
always remember. Taste soaks one
take an
ginger
egg.
powder.
Right here. And some ginger powder.
Okay, so we've got raw beef,
So that does it.
raw egg.
Aha! Now
Raw-
we're
Now
ready
eat it.
to
Now eat it,
separate
bitch.
this into
Trying to
portions and
Oh, God.
enjoy
I like
it.
that. That's a good comedic instinct to play with
that's
the.
it for this
They're gonna
week's
make
Babel Fish,
Katie eat this, aren't
the
they?
Cooking with the Babel Fish.
Do
Join
it.
us next week.
Only a few
for-
seconds left. Did they make you
I
eat?
don't
Yeah, I
want
don't
to
want
do it.
to.
Enjoy it.
Do it. Do it. All right, we faked it. We wussed out. The joke is
The
there.
Republic is safe.
And
I'm so high.
Well, I mean, I did almost
I'm
vomit
so
from
high.
a Katie Willard experience sketch, but it was not this one.
Was it the pudding?
Yes, it was.
I think it would have been a cool memory/experience to have vomited pure pudding.
I can't explain to you just how disgusting that. And I love pudding. Yeah, so I think we should keep a running tally of like, okay, so we've got raw pork, raw beef, raw eggs. So
Yeah.
far, I have handled in these episodes of Katie Willard Experience.
I don't remember them, but yeah.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah,
get to
it is
them.
funny. I think that was a really fun, really simple, because I think, only ran through it twice.
I was gonna say that was like a 4-hour shoot. You're out.
Yeah, we didn't. I think because the thought of it being such a mess is actually part of just what is so funny about it. So like, you really lose that if you do things if you do a lot of takes of it. And since it was kind of running through with only a few cuts here and there, that's actually one of the first sketches I showed I think my mom has a picture of me showing my grandma Suzanne and my great aunt Pat at Christmas, like on the iPad, like showing them the sketch and the two of them laughing really hard. Like, I think this was the first sketch I could show my family that that wouldn't offend them in some
They didn't like the
way.
Blumpkin sketch? Come on.
I actually don't know.
That's funny. I have the opposite, and I don't know if it's healthy. My mom, specifically, especially because we're so close, has always watched and cheerled everything I've done. But if you follow my career, that becomes, you're like, oh, she had to see that? Like the tent abortion sketch, for example, if people know that. It's like, oh, she had to watch that sketch. That's hard for her, I bet.
I mean...
But I know a lot, like Daniel did not show his parents every
The
thing
sketch,
we made.
yeah.
For
My mom loved Clitter. She thought Clitter. She still thinks Clitter is
Clitter's
really funny.
That was our first million. I think I said it before, but I gotta say it. First million. Oh, speaking of, the last sketch we covered, Worst Girlfriend Reality Show, 350,000 views. Cooking with Babel Fish, 16,000. What do you attribute that to, Katie?
God, there's been so many iterations of like what is popular because of the algorithm that I couldn't tell you. We can't discredit split views, right? Because for so long, the video was hosted on Crack's. Crack had its own video player hosted on its site, right?
You nailed it.
The counts for that. And then we also split uploaded to YouTube for a long time. I think before they just hosted the video, embedded the video from YouTube to get the views. So a lot of these sketches in this mid-range, I feel like are not accurate view counts. I mean, believe me, I don't think this one was cranking on the views.
A runaway hit, but still, you're right. They're 2 years apart, probably straddles that line before all videos, like YouTube will just be where people watch videos. That memory is even fading for me of a time when a lot of people would type websites into their URL and hit enter. So yeah, Cracked used to get tons of views on the home page on our embedded video player that sucked. It barely functioned. Like, that's why YouTube wins. But
like, think of all those episodes of After Hours that were split uploaded.
Sure. Yeah. Well, let me just say this. People who currently employ me and run Cracked and pay me to do this that we're doing now, if you're still using an in-house embedded player, that's dumb and bad. Don't do that.
I don't think they are. Yeah.
All right. That's a wrap on me. I'll see you at another website.
I just think about, like, for example, I had a couple sketches that I had written that were on Funny or Die with the sketch team that I was a part of from the Improv Olympic. And they just are gone. They just don't exist anymore because they didn't do such a great job of moving everything over to YouTube. I think they just did their tentpole stuff, and kind of anyone who was uploading from, that wasn't a Funny or Die, that was someone that was an external contributor. So like I had to go I wrote a sketch called 77 Exercises, a parody exercise infomercial. It's a workout DVD for fans of the Talking Heads.
So specific.
One of the things I am most proud of, it got actually a lot of traction on Funny or Die and was like shared on Facebook a bunch with like niche like music groups. They're like, what the hell? This is great, which is like my ideal. I'm like, it's just all I need is me and like one other person to find something I make funny, and I'm like a happy camper. But yeah, they just pulled it. They just deleted a bunch of videos. So there are a ton of sketches that don't exist anymore.
Well, if you know, shout out Super Deluxe, which was like a mid-shelf Funny or Die college humor that also suddenly vanished. All
God, yeah.
Very funny web series that I watched, completely gone. Yeah,
they had
a whole like universe.
Money. They had a lot of funding, like OG funding.
It was a whole
them.
extended family of, sketch comedians doing good work, all gone. Which is, I think, the rude awakening we're having about the streaming era, right? Is you're like, oh, everything's in the cloud now. It'll be there forever. Not so. I also thought that, and I'm upset that it's like, no, they'll delete it just for space, which is unfortunate because
I got to clear up some room on the hard drive.
Yeah, the Disney vault. Well, you got to make room to mine crypto,
I hate it here.
Don't make that face.
I hate
There's
it.
a Department of Doge now. You have to respect it, Katie.
Michael.
All right. I guess our feeling on Musk has been made clear subtly. So one of the questions that we were asked to help guide the discussion is, what was the meaning of this video and culture at the time it was posted, and what does it mean now? And I think that's so funny because I would say, speaking of translation, this sketch is meaningless now. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, it exists. It is a time capsule that is no
Talk
longer...
about disposable comedy. Yeah, it's nothing. It's like ripped from the headlines that don't.
Yeah, out of context, you're like, what is what?
Yeah, good sketch.
Yeah, I think it still is funny. I think even without the context, because I mean, to the credit of the sketch, it explains the premise up top pretty easy.
Yeah,
so even if you don't know what Babel Fish is, then you know it still
Not
is
that
funny.
it's beyond comprehension. I'm just saying it's so not relevant.
Crazy that it just doesn't mean anything anymore. Like I remember when the kind of switchover happened where Google Translate suddenly was good. There for a very long time, it was like a lot of third-party translation, and then Google Translate
And around the same time,
happening.
auto transcripts, like auto subtitles, became pretty good. Very.
So whatever
big leap.
piece of like, I feel like there was some technological component that happened then that everything.
A nameless
kind of took
engineer invented a program that did it very elegantly and perfectly, and everyone copy and pasted that shit, and now we have it. It's crazy to me that we're there with that, but the infrared sinks in public restrooms, I don't know why this bothers me so much. Why can't we get that to work?
Wait, what?
And then you'll
sinks?
tap the metal, and some of them that will make it go, but not. People know what you gotta know.
Oh, you mean the like hold
Sinks,
your hand under the sink?
touchless sinks at like airports or anywhere. Is it just me? I feel like that technology is not advancing. What happened?
Well, I think because a person gets a fucking hand, like a paper towel dispenser that has the infrared.
Love it. I want the infrared.
Like with how fast technology is, like they're not going to buy one and replace it even in 5 years.
I see. So you're saying, so statistically, you're more likely to encounter ones that are old and janky. Yeah.
Here's my peeve, my technology peeve. Everybody talks about Dyson this, Dyson that. Dyson, he's a genius in design. Blah, 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 blah.
Get his name out of your mouth, Katie.
So his fucking stupid fucking hand dryer
The air blade.
that you stick your hand
It's
in.
an air blade. Get it right.
But there is no place for the water that is on your hand that gets blown off to go. And so it pours off the side and pools on the ground, and it's unsightly and it's unsafe. So for someone who thinks so much about like the design of things to not even like think about that.
I agree with you that seems like a very obvious design flaw, but I like that it's called the air blade, Katie.
I mean, the marketing is amazing.
We already know that the air blade stays the dominant like hand dryer well into the future, because in the Alien movies, like the Nostromo's always wet. That's because they have the Dysons are in there. That was a long walk to try and get us back to something pop culture friendly. Do you have more memories of shooting this sketch? Eventually we'll cover one that we're both in, and I can help, but you'll have to.
Yeah, I mean.
Ooh. Do you like, because I'm assuming you improv the stuff that was like, what do I, that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Do you like that more, or how does that differ versus trying to cram a bunch of stuff into your memory?
Yeah, so for me, I think improvising when I'm reading from a prompter is a lot different than improvising when I am memorized. For me, I have a hard time with like in sketches because it's so quick and there's not a ton of rehearsal. I don't always feel as comfortable improvising within the thing. I like, letting sketches run out with some improv, right? Once I can like throw away all the lines I remember and just like ease out of the sketch.
You
with
like the
improv.
last take where they go, okay, have fun with it.
Yeah. Because then I don't have to think. It's hard for me to get back to where I need to be. In like a play, it's different because you've rehearsed lines so many times that I feel like safer improvising within it. But with this, in this specific example, having a prompter allowed me to be able to like be out and be back in again. So like I could play with the very real thing of like, do you want me to keep go? You want me to, I just put it on the thing. And like what I appreciate about Daniel is that he also was playing it very like, I'm an exasperated producer.
Curb your enthusiasm. Yeah, you know what the scene is, but you're just doing the scene.
It was very real. It was like, who would I be in this situation? Like how would I earnestly react to this? So, it was a very fun environment for that because I had the luxury of having the teleprompter, because like when I think about things like after hours, like how much would you improvise? Like people comment and I'd be like, I would not improvise anything because if I improvised, I would lose my place and then who knows how long it would take for me to hop back on the wagon.
And Jack's crazy essay about Back to the Future would not be word perfect, and then the logic wouldn't. Because also the arguments were supposed to, like
it was important that every moment is
nerds are going to
for.
pick it apart. It's for the internet, right?
Right. So with something like this where it was already so random and crazy, to be able to ground it in like honest reaction of, so I'm just going to put this thing in here. Yeah. Okay. But it is funny. I remember that motion of putting the thing in like and pressing it into the piece
I remember
of
that
pork.
shot very well. Yeah.
Just.
Yeah, that always was a lot of fun. And to be honest, I really love playing the straight man. I know a lot of times in cracked things, I was some wackier characters, but I do really love getting to just be in reaction to the odd man out,
Yeah, for sure. As a guy who 90% of the time played the wacky wild card, I think I prefer wacky wild card. I think that's why we wrote it that way.
And that's why we work so well together,
silly.
Michael.
Yeah.
That was why we were on our side of the table in After Hours, is because you needed a straight man to like balance out.
That's the thing about
kooky.
After Hours I think people don't appreciate is we so carefully thought about what the four positions would represent. We had long discussions about the four humors, the basic structure of all sitcom, like what are the core energies inherent to all sitcoms. The episode Soren ended up writing about the Ninja Turtles, like there was just a lot of thought put into what is Daniel's persona, both on the site and his column, and how does that translate to his character in After Hours. What does Katie represent? What does Michael represent? Yeah.
Right. But yeah, in this situation, it is fun. It is fun being straight man to the environment. That I think is a super fun.
Well, it's not just gross out. We love beating the shit out of you. Like I'm realizing now how many sketches are you having a really, really bad time.
I get something thrown at me. Yeah, I did.
Which is like Daniel as well. That was his lot in life.
Didn't you guys kiss so hard that you cut his lip?
In the last episode of Agents of Cracked, we were... because comedians want to go hard and commit. That makes it funnier. So the joke at the end is apparently there was all this sexual tension between us the whole time that you never noticed, but we're playing it off like, oh, it was a will they, won't they? And they finally did Aren't You Happy when there was nothing supporting that.
I feel like the first act of a Lifetime movie. Hey, Dan. Michael! What took you so long?
That's the joke. And, both of us, just like in college, I, had a scene where I slapped a guy, and actors are like this. in between every show, he'd go, "You could really slap me, man. Like, go harder. You know, I feed off it, man."
Yeah.
And eventually I chipped his tooth. And he's like, "What the fuck, dude?" And I'm like, 20 times in a row, you asked me to slap you harder and harder. This is why acting's stupid. And it was exactly the same thing with Daniel and I. You know, neither one wants to be the one who doesn't go all in on the kiss. So, yeah, I believe we both bled. I think it was like a nose and then an inside of a cheek thing.
Yeah, a tooth to a lip situation.
Yeah. You ever kiss someone and they bleed? Come away bleeding?
Yeah, but not in a bad way.
Oh, okay. That's good. Good. I was going to say, you haven't lived, my friend. I've only done it in a sketch in character, but yeah.
I'm not into vor, guys. That's let me just say that right now.
I was going to say, we're getting into
I'm not into that.
our actual
Again,
real
not
life
kink shaming.
fetishes. So I think it's
Not
time
kink
to
shaming.
unplug.
Just sometimes
Never.
you get like into it.
Look, I'm a cake farter. All right, I'm a cake farter. Can we wrap the episode, please, before I reveal more?
You're a cake farter and a pumpkin fucker, right?
Oh, we'll get there. No, not on this show though. But yeah, maybe someday. All right. Well, throw us a like and a comment if you enjoyed this. We enjoyed having you. This has been Quee. All right, let's clap. And 3, 2, 1.